Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this video from Area DMG. I'm your host, Philip Wesley, the Mile High Mouth, and if you know me if you check out radiodmg.com or dmgice.com. And today we're going to talk a little bit about the PlayStation line of products. We don't have a PSP 1000 or 2000 with us, or the N1000, not the N1000, the E1000, the one which removes the Wi-Fi and has mono and all that other crap. But what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the differences mainly between the 3000, the Go, and the brand new PS Vita. Of course, the things to note, the PSP 3000 is the last one that lets you use UMDs and is the one with the most backwards compatibility between PlayStation Portable games. It's the one where you can use minis on it, PS1 games, etc., etc. Not a bad system. This is the system that if you're really new to PlayStation Portable gaming and you want to play stuff like, say, The Third Birthday or titles like Monster Hunter, Freedom, etc., etc., and you really want to check those out, the thing to check them out on would be the PlayStation Portable 3000. These are about $99 to $129 depending where you go, and they come in black and silver. Get it in black. It's kind of nice looking. This is a good system for people starting out with that. Great battery life. You can actually change the battery, which you cannot do on the Go or the Vita, and it features a lot of the. This is essentially the model that you want to get if you want to try out games like Crisis Core or Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, both of which are not available on either of these systems. And if you want to play a lot of the older games like, say, the Final Fantasy UMDs that came out, or any of the video UMDs. Now keep in mind that video UMDs are region locked on this system, but games are not. None of these systems, except for the Go, are really... Actually, the Go is the only one that's really region locked because you're locked to the store region. So the PSP Go is region locked, and some stuff on the Vita store, it's complicated to get around the region lock, but the game cartridges, or game cards for the PlayStation Vita are region free. So yes, this system here, region free for the most part, except for video and downloads, and compatible with the over 500 plus games that are available for the PlayStation Portable worldwide. Things like DJ Max Portable, or Pump It Up. I've got those, like Pump It Up Exceed, or some of the ones that games that came out in Japan that didn't come out over here work on this. This is the 3000, so if you're looking at right now, there's just a slight, it's got a little thing where there's little lines on the screen if you look really closely. I know a lot of people talk about that, but yeah, that's the way that is. Now, the PlayStation Portable Go is actually, this is actually my current favorite iteration of this because I use it mostly for for podcasts and movies and for games. Like it's compatible with anything you can download off of the network. Games like Where Is My Heart? Oh, let's see. There we go. There we go. Turn the volume up. Or Angry Birds. Things like Final Fantasy Tactics and Mighty Flip Champs. But yeah, this is the system to go for if you just want to use downloadable stuff and you're okay with that. They're a little hard to come by. They don't make them anymore in many other territories. So this system here is actually becoming rare, which is kind of nice. If you have one of these, hold on to this puppy. It's going to be like the Game Boy Micro in that it's going to be worth a bit in a few years. Because honestly, it's a nice system. Screen's nice. The buttons are nice. The placement for this is good. Everything about this system works pretty well. And it's great. A good system. Worth it for a certain amount. Get them while they're still cheap. One thing I like about these. And let me hit both of those. There's our calendar. Anyways, that's that. And then there's the Vita. Now the Vita has the biggest thing for that is, oh look, two thumbsticks. It has a quad core GPU that's actually the same type of GPU that's in the new iPads, except that the iPad one is dual core and this one's quad core. Kind of interesting. The biggest attachment is that it has a touchscreen. Woo, touchscreen. It is compatible with with a lot of the with a lot of the games that are downloadable for the PlayStation Network, including all those Neo Geo ones, which was kind of nice. I'm like, yes. So I made a Neo Geo one specifically for that. Because honestly, if I'm gonna have a Vita, I should play some good games on it, right? And most of the games that I like that are for this system aren't out yet. In fact, the only one I've purchased so far is Super Stardust Delta. You put your cartridges in here on the top, and then this is for an extension port of some sort. And here's where you charge it and all that. Serial number, whatever. Anyways, that's the system. It's got a back touchpad, which a lot of games use kind of gimmicky. Like for example, in Touch My Katamari, you kind of goat seat it over here in the back to squash or stretch your Katamari. Anyways, that's kind of so far so good. I like the screen on it. It's an OLED screen. Things to note about OLED screens is that most of the time the white on it will go out first. Sorry, the blue will go out first. So on the PlayStation Vita, see we have an all-white background here. They overclock the blue to make up for the lower life expectancy of blue LEDs on an organic LED, which means that this, by the time that the blue eventually dies or whatnot, there will probably be a replacement or a revision for this, and I'll have upgraded. I love what they do with these. I hate this stuff here because, like, nails, I don't have them. In fact, my nails are terrible. And yeah. Anyways, that's the Vita. It's a nice little system. There are people concerned about the size of the unit. Yes, the PlayStation Vita is much larger than the PSP, and much larger, of course, than the PSP Go. In fact, the screen is larger than the PSP Go itself. But yeah, the PlayStation Vita is kind of big. Like here, for an example, here's a 3DS with the Circle Pad Pro, and as you can see, it's actually larger than that. It's actually longer than that too, which is kind of amusing. It's longer and larger than that, but not, of course, size-wise. The system's pretty, this is a pretty slim system, although not as slim as its brethren. Pretty hefty. Some people were, when it came out, comparing it in size to things like the Game Gear. PlayStation Portable Vita, nowhere is, it's like, well, okay, kind of, well, not anywhere near as thick. Let's move this a little bit. Yeah, it's still smaller than the Game Gear. Of course, the Game Gear is pretty hefty portable. I like it, but it's pretty hefty. Let's pop that over here. Of course, the monsters are the original, the Lynx 2, which, of course, the Vita is smaller than. Or the legendary beast that is the Lynx 1. I am the Lynx 1. And, good lord, look at this thing. Yeah. That's a size comparison. Let's move that to that. Between the two. Yeah, that's the Lynx, ladies and gentlemen. The Lynx 1, still the reigning handheld beast. For another explanation, here's the DSi XL, which is a wonderful system. I love the system, and the Vita's slightly larger than it, of course. And for those wondering, here's the 3DS without the Circle Pad Pro, and of course the PlayStation Portable Vita is much larger than that system. So that's that on those. Those are the size comparisons. Now, one more thing I should probably compare it to. Here is the original Game Boy device, about that thick. And here's the Vita. This is where we've gotten to in terms of handhelds. Vita is actually larger lengthwise than the original Game Boy, but definitely not as thick. And for those wondering, the Circle Pad Pro, when you're holding it, is slightly thicker than, well, actually not really. It's about as thick as the original Game Boy. So when people are like, well, this isn't comfortable. No, actually it quite is. This is kind of comfortable. But yeah, that's those are our size stuff on the PlayStation Vita. Now the Vita is the system to go for if you want to play brand new games like, say, Stardust Delta or the new Call of Duty that's supposed to be coming out for the system, and Uncharted. There's a lot of good games coming out for it. I'm personally looking forward to Gravity Rush. That's the one I'm looking forward to the most on the system. And then Final Fantasy X HD and Metal Gear Solid HD Collection. And let's see, well, Rayman Origins and such. But yeah, that's the I love what they've done with some of the way the interface works on this system. I like the idea of custom interfaces. I just wish it didn't black out between them, because if it had smooth scrolling between them, I could have just pillars of graphic. One thing I also like about it is I can change stuff on the fly by holding down the PlayStation button. Like, for example, the brightness. I can turn on and off the microphone, etc. If I'm playing music, I can stop or start that. You can also play music while you're in game, replacing the soundtrack on some games. Another thing I like is that you can take system level screenshots by holding the start button and the PlayStation button at the same time. That's kind of neat. I just wish they did more with the interface with this, and I wish that the cameras, what's horrible about the cameras, there's two of them here, one on the back, and the cameras are the same resolution as the cameras that are on the 3DS. And I'm like, wait, didn't people complain about that? Oh well, it's something that they'll probably fix or upgrade in whenever they do a revision. Love the screen. It makes it more of a tablet than anything else, which kind of makes me sad that I can't rearrange these dots like a tablet, because I'd like to browse the system like this, like a tablet, and then go through and play games like this, because that's what the PlayStation Vita kind of is. It's kind of a tablet. Now, let's see. Some of the stuff they added, like PlayStation Network, the Content Manager, I absolutely hate because I can't put stuff in folders. And video playback on it is okay. Music's okay. There's no... One thing that they took out is... One thing I really liked about the PlayStation Portable and the PlayStation 3000... Sorry, the PlayStation Portable and the PlayStation Portable Go is that the ability to use... is the ability to use visualizers. Yeah, and they took those out from the PlayStation Portable Vita. And I'm like, really? Here is this gorgeous OLED screen, and you're not going to let me use visualizers on it when I'm playing music? That strikes me as wrong. Maybe Sony will fix that in the future, because like right now I've been using it a lot mostly for Twitter and Netflix, because Netflix looks really good on it, and playing through some older games like, well, some games like Super Stardust Delta, and really loving how older PlayStation Portable games look on this. Now, the list of PlayStation Portable games that are compatible with it is not very large. In fact, it's too small, really, I think. It's, let me turn these off right here. And I'll hit that out. Come on. Yep. Yeah, I kind of like that. To turn this one off, you hold down a button, whereas you don't have to flip up anything on these sides, which is kind of nice. This is a Wi-Fi model. The 3G model has a little thing here where you can put a SIM card. The Wi-Fi model does not. It's just fine. Their prices on those are kind of a rip-off. But here's how you can play older games on it. Some of these games, of course, look superb on it. Let's go back here a minute. Okay. I had to start a new save in this because honestly, they don't let you really transfer your save files over to the Vita. So I kind of like, well, darn. I had to start up a new save, so I'm playing through this again. Looks nice. Oh, by the way, if you hold your thumb down on the screen, or rather your finger down on the screen, come on, you can turn on things like bilinear filtering, color space, which makes it kind of like does the oversaturation thing that the Go and the PSP 3000 do, and you can change where the camera is, like front or rear, because there are some games that use that, and you can decide whether or not you want the right stick to be either the same as this stick, which would be this, or the same as your buttons here, or the same as your buttons here. On some games, like for example on Everyday Shooter, which you actually have to use the PS3 to transfer over to the PS Vita, which honestly that's a little overly complicated and terrible, but I can use this to move, and then I can use these buttons here to fire, or I can set them to this stick here, and then turn Everyday Shooter into a double stick shooter like it's supposed to be. Anyways, let's get out of that. That's the system. Some of the games on it are really pretty. The only complaints I really have about the system, loading times on a card, but I'm kind of used to that now because there are some games on the DS and on the 3DS that had loading times, and the loading times aren't nearly as bad as they used to be on the PlayStation Portable for some games. There are some games for the Vita where the loading time is horrible and obnoxious, which I guess that's something we have to deal with now on portables. Gone are the days where the only loading screen I would see was the little Nintendo thing coming down, the little Game Boy Nintendo logo. Bing! Done. That's how it used to be, but now, oh well. But yeah, some of these games, like this is Rayman Origins. Let me skip all that crap. Yay, that's us. You can zoom in on your character. Ooh, you can zoom in on these kind of obnoxiously pretty graphics. Let's let it focus for a bit. Yep. Yay! You're a hero! You weird French creature. Okay, yeah, but that's let's get out of that. But yeah, that's a little bit about the Vita sizes and a little bit. I'm not really gonna complain so much. I could bring out the stacks, but the best of both worlds, people, is to pick up one of these and one of these. You can attach two systems to your one thing I really hate. It used to be that you could attach up to 5 PlayStation portable devices to your account. Now you can only attach 2. So I had to unattach this one from my PlayStation Network account so I could use this and this at the same time. Which, Sony, that's really bad. In fact, Sony, that's like, yeah. Anyways, that's just bad, Sony. Thank you. But if you can't find a Go, or you have no interest in the smaller sized Go and stuff, and you just want to play games, you want the most compatibility, you're going to want to pick up one of these puppies for $99 to $130, and you're going to want one of these for the future, because a lot of the games that are available on the PlayStation Portable will never ever be on the PlayStation Vita. Outside of inside of legal whatever. When somebody figures out the emulation and stuff for this and they hack this thing to death, yeah, of course we'll be able to get that. But Sony should have prevented that by, I don't know, allowing me to, I don't know, use an old system like this and connect that system to this system and just transfer the data from the PlayStation Portable to here temporarily. I mean, that's the easiest thing they could have done is a data cable, allowing you to make a temporary, or actually make up to 2. Actually, what they could have done is they could have sold you slots for your PS Vita, like 2 or 3 bubbles, which you could occupy by attaching your PlayStation Portable 3000 to your PlayStation Portable Vita via some type of interstitial device, because there is this attachment thing here, and then just let you copy your UMD onto your temporary bubble. They could charge you, say, $10 a bubble, and that would be fine, because honestly, I want to play Radiant Historia on this system. I want to be able to play Final Fantasy 1 or Final Fantasy 2, the enhanced versions that came out on the PlayStation Portable. I'd like to play those on this system. I want to play Birth by Sleep on this system. But until Sony does something to do that, I won't be able to, and it's really a shame. I mean, it wouldn't be that hard. You just sell people the empty bubble for about $10 to $15, maybe even $20, and then they'd need to buy the additional part and have one of these units and the UMD, and then just attach it and then transfer it into that bubble onto the memory card here and go. That would be easy. That would be the easiest thing they could do. The licensing and stuff, you're not going to be distributing it between Vitas. You're not going to be able to do anything other than like copy it permanently to that bubble. When you delete that bubble, you delete that UMD information. You have to go through the whole process again. That's what they should have done. It's easy for them to set up, and it would be the best option for PlayStation Vita owners. So, because there are a lot of great games on this system, like say Metal Gear Acid. I liked both of those. I liked Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. I like Crisis Core. I like a lot of games that are on the system but that will never embrace the wonderful OLED screen of this system. Oh well, at least I have my Neo Geo stuff.